we can say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
To science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
Hi, and welcome to the Brainstorm Podcast Skeptic Studio, where we do interviews, major topics, and news related to skepticism and atheism. I'm Gumby, and on my panel tonight, we have Lisa.
It's me.
And Rene.
Hello.
And the always amazing Dave in the background doing all the work.
Gumby just called me amazing. I'm going to record that.
Yeah, I have to. It's on the script. We're here in Roman Empire Studios in Regina, Saskatchewan. Today's December 8th, 2017. It's Skeptic Studio episode number 34. And as a special treat, I will be hosting the last episode of the year.
Is it?
It is.
Oh.
We're taking a break from the 22nd, so we won't be back again until January. Our guest tonight is Zach Law from the Zachrilegecast.
Hello.
Hey, Zach. There he is. So this is good because we are down a guy who listens to everybody else's podcasts. And you're the guy who is known for interviewing everybody.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, you'll get there.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to run out anytime soon. I pretty much find new 10 people at least.
All right. Well, do you want to give us a quick rundown of your show? What got you into it and how long you've been running?
I feel like there's that huge podcast explosion like in early 2015. Like I heard the post ReasonCon podcast and when I did it in 2014, and it was Bobby Carey and Bill and the Scathing Atheist, and there were a bunch of people there. And when Bill and Susie of the Barroom Atheist, Susie had brain surgery, so they needed guest bartenders. I was like, sure, I'll be on there. So I showed up as a guest, and we talked about like the Old Testament, and that was fun. And I said, you know, Bobby kind of leaned me toward, you know what we need? We need more podcasters. So I had been doing interviews in the fantasy football realm. That's an American deal for a while. So I was like, well, I could just interview people on the atheist side. So I started doing that early in 2015. What are we now? Almost 3 years later, 122 episodes. And actually, Bill and Susie were on my show last night. So first time I talked to them in 120 episodes. So that's kind of what I do. I don't do crazy skits or any real super duper promo. It's just kind of like find a guest, talk to them, see what they're up to. Usually it's podcasters, bloggers, or it could just be someone I find interesting. And for the most part, we're dealing with atheists and skeptics.
Well, there's lots of loudmouths out here, right? So,
well, it's all good. And then don't mind me, I'm just drinking my extra heavy beer. So
no, that's good. That's what real beer is supposed to taste like. I assume you don't drink your typical American water.
You really can't say bad things about American beer. I mean, yeah, you can say things bad about like American mainstream beer, but right now I'm drinking the Sierra Nevada Trip to the Woods barrel-aged narwhal cocoa coconuts. This is like a dessert beer beyond. You know, it's a nice 11%. The sipper. Dark like my soul if I had one.
That sounds like a bottle that should have its own beard and vape thing. And it's.
I know. Yes,
is it a hipster beer? Does it have tight jeans, this beer?
It's very hipster.
Our last guest, neither of you know this, but we were on Skype like with video, and no, he was like smoking a joint. Like he was really fun. Good. Yeah. I think it's good when our guests get inebriated a little bit, and when we do.
No, I'm just kidding about beers. I don't like any mainstream beers, not because they're mainstream, just because they don't taste as good. I prefer like a heavy Hefeweizen or anything German. But so you said, sorry.
So nothing wrong with that. There are tons of styles of beers that you can hate, and there's still a lot for you. And I know Canada's got to be solid with beers too. I mean, what do you do in the winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drink and have sex. That's it.
And if you're into it, hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
At the same time, all three.
At the same time.
Wow.
Stick handling. It's all about stick handling.
Fun.
Actually, I was in Idaho about 13 years ago for Super Bowl, and I was hanging out with some friends down there, and I got introduced to Fat Tire and a couple other they were micro brews back then. They're a little bigger now, but some nice American white ales and white beers. They're really good. But you said you used to do a lot of fantasy football stuff.
Yeah, correct. That's kind of my entry into interview world. I just knew a bunch of people in fantasy football, so I did, ask your fantasy football expert kind of interviews. Now, these were just written down. I did a few kind of YouTube interviews, but it was mainly, just sending people questions and they'd respond to you, and I'd get somebody new every week. And there's a lot of similarities in the atheist and fantasy football worlds in that it's a lot of pale and male. And most people, nobody's got that big of an ego, so they're usually going to respond to you and they'll chat with you. And it's sadly, it's still a niche in a way. So it's kind of fun to talk shop with people. And it's just my excuse, I guess, to talk about this once a week. It's like, oh, I could call you on the phone, or I could record it and put it on YouTube, or do an iTunes podcast.
I always thought fantasy football was like D&D for jocks.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
So I assume then that you are a skeptic and an atheist?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. You can test me on that.
Yeah. Ask you in about 70 years, right?
Yeah.
So when did you discover you were an atheist?
I didn't really think about it that much. I think there was a time where I had an argument with like a campus preacher, and it was like, well, why can't I just be good and not worship any deity? And oddly enough, it was me listening to the Adam Carolla podcast of all things, and he would occasionally make atheist comments and say about stupid religions, and it was just like, you know what I should do? I should look up atheist podcasts. So I started finding, the Atheist Experience, Ask an Atheist, and this was like a 2014 era. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, these people exist, and hey, you know what? Their arguments are pretty good, and maybe this is who I am. I mean, I never had any serious religious background. My parents never really took me to church. My parents oddly became a little more religious later in life, but not when I was growing up.
That happens a lot with parents as they get older. They're like, oh, maybe I better start thinking about being good just in case. But
do they?
I know some people that have done that.
Huh.
As they get closer to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm a parent. Will this happen to me?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Well,
I'm way too heathenistic.
I promised.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I'll look out for you too, dude.
So yeah, in your atheism and skepticism and talking to people, have you noticed that there's more of a divide in both those communities right now?
Well, you get into a group that's like relatively small, and you think, wow, I found my people, and this is great, and you're just kind of rolling along. You got that new relationship energy going, and you're all excited, and then you discover, wait, we have assholes too. Hey, look at that, And people have disagreements, and sometimes they have disagreements that you seem kind of petty and like they're nothing, and then they decide to not talk to each other ever again. And
jeez, I feel like this describes romantic relationships as well. Like it's just the whole spectrum of human interpersonal camaraderie. I don't know.
There's this idea that I think we have to be united because we're such a small group, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, I hope if we need to unite for an important political thing, possibly, but there's just so few of us. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. But yeah, there's definitely divides, but that's the thing with podcasts, because I have to listen to new podcasts every week when I do interviews. I don't have time to listen to a bunch of shows, so yeah, things slip off, things join, the mainstream for me, and yeah, some people that I've felt like really close to just kind of drop off, and that's just what happens in life.
Sure, and people change. As much as people say they don't, everybody changes.
You don't change, Destin. You've always been a jerk.
Well, yeah, but I'm an asshole in different ways.
Really?
At different times, yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
I'm trying to grow as a douche.
He's trying to evolve.
So nice.
So with your show, so how long have you been operating now? Did you say?
The first episode was early 2015. So yeah, it was last night was episode 122.
Obviously, you're on Patreon, right?
Yeah, I am, although I haven't been hit as hard by the latest Patreon fee issue, because I got 3 Patreons to start, and I have 3 now. So I feel like I'm very consistent on that front.
Good job.
We have a dozen, but 3 of them are cast members. And one of them's a cousin to one of the cast members.
Who's Destin sucks?
Oh, that's my buddy Alden. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect us that much either, because Corey's just going to send out a blasted email. Once he gets back, he's actually just trying to get some tickets to some Broadway musicals. That's why he's not here.
The common excuse.
Yeah, it's normal. Broadway. Yeah,
That's how we are. That's how we roll.
Hey, Corey likes Rent. What can you say?
Okay, so you said before we went on the air that something about your city burning down or something. Like, what's going on? Like, is something going on where you are?
Where are you?
See, it's a very good time to chat with a podcast in Canada, because yesterday the city of Atlanta sent a Facebook message saying that we were going to have a state of emergency because we had an inch of snow predicted to happen.
But to be fair, it is though. When you I used to live in a Canadian city called Victoria that gets no snow or maybe snow once a year, and it is an emergency because nobody has snow tires, nobody knows how to drive in it. There's no means to get rid of the snow, right? Like people, it's actually dangerous. So you think as like a hardy Canadian, I can drive in this shit, but it's not you. It's the other assholes out there that you just.
Well, no. The funny thing,
they can't drive here in Saskatchewan.
No.
In snow.
That is absolutely
the funny
true.
difference between Victoria and Atlanta is the climate. So at least it gets cold in BC. It can't hit 0.
It can hit 0. When by 0
Georgia's
we mean
in
32. We
Atlanta,
mean 32.
right?
Huh?
Or sorry, Atlanta's in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right. It's you're pretty south. It's pretty warm. Like how much of that is actually going to stick to the ground?
Yeah. What temperature are you hitting there?
Well, that's the I guess the issue here is
In Metro,
I think
please.
the first storm we ever had was where it rained and it basically froze overnight.
Oh, that shit's nasty. That's not your
Doesn't matter
imagination.
where you
That's
are.
shit. Yeah.
In this case, it was like in the mid 30s all day, so 1 or 2.
That's right around freezing.
What's that in real temperature?
It's 0. 32 water freezes at
It's only going to get to just at freezing, like at dawn. But see, we had this thing called the snowpocalypse a few years ago. We only got like 2 inches of snow, but everybody in the entire city left at the same time. And people were stuck in their cars overnight. They were like,
I remember that. Yeah. We all laughed at you. Yeah.
It was pretty bad, and it only snowed like 2 inches, but because we didn't have any plan, and because of that, if there's a snowflake in like this hemisphere, they're like, all right, school's closed, work's closed.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But you guys can have like 400 tornadoes and nobody bats a fucking eye.
Hurricanes, whatever.
It's funny because Canada is bigger than the U.S., and the U.S. has more than 100 times the number of tornadoes a year than we do.
Well,
That's because we're just ice and snow.
Yeah. Imagine if we got tornadoes in winter. That'd be awesome. No, yeah. I laughed a little when you said snowpocalypse because Saskatchewan doesn't get a lot of snow. Most people here don't know what a real snowstorm is.
We get
when
enough.
I lived in Newfoundland,
Okay.
right?
Fair enough, yeah.
I went to school on Friday, and Monday I had to go to a different school because over the weekend we got over 7 feet of snow, and the roof collapsed in my school. Like there was when the big trucks went out to clear snow, they just basically had a giant snow blower blowing snow behind it into trucks, and it would just pull it away. And there'd be walls like 12 feet high.
Wow.
It's just a tunnel in snow. It's just crazy.
we don't. You're right. We don't know snow. If that's real snow, we don't know snow.
Well, that's because in Saskatchewan, it's a dry cold.
It's a very dry. I'm from Alberta. We get more snow than Alberta, but yeah, no, it is a dry cold because minus 30 with like beautiful bright blue skies and
That's nice
very
up there.
dusty snow. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like that icy shit that you guys are dealing with. No, that stuff's nasty.
To give you an idea of our winters, it gets down to about negative 40 sometimes
which is
in
almost,
Celsius, which is negative 40 Fahrenheit.
No, actually, that's like negative 45 Fahrenheit. They meet at like minus 32.
I thought they meant at negative 40.
No, I think you're wrong. Wrong.
It doesn't matter. At that cold, at that cold, it's just fucking cold. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like your eyeballs feel cold, and you're in the moisture in your nose freezes as you inhale. Like it's a beautiful thing. It's gorgeous. Oh, for fuck's sakes, are you looking it up?
Yes.
You're a fucking asshole. It's like minus 32 that they meet.
In Kansas City, and the only time they closed school is when it was like the high temperature was negative 20. Like whatever the temperature is, where you basically freeze in like 4 seconds. Yeah, that's the only time that they're like, snow, nah, ice, nah. And down here, we just don't take any chances. And yeah, we have enough salt or whatever for the roads, maybe like once a year. We didn't even really get any snow last year, which was kind of surprising because I was wearing shorts on Tuesday, and now we're got snow. But it is a weekend, no one got school or work off as a result. So there's the downside.
Oh, that's shit. So
that's Saskatchewan. We could go from short weather to snow in like 3 days and back again.
That's true.
Yeah, but for you, shorts weather is like above zero.
Fuck,
right?
I feel like you're wrong. I still feel like you're wrong.
Yes,
I feel like
Google
Google
wrong.
is still wrong.
Negative 40 is negative 40. That's the basis of temperature.
Okay, fine. Destin. Oh, it's so hard. You
I didn't know we were going to study weather tonight.
Welcome to the brainstorm. It's all chaos.
You know what?
You've listened to
I
at least one episode of
I've
this.
got a question. I do have a question. So I haven't actually paid any attention to your news down there for a couple of years. So what's been going on down in the States in the last couple of years? Anything? It's just Obama, then Clinton or something like that? Is that what happened?
Did we elect our version of Stephen Harper? I don't even know. I feel like it's
No, you don't. You know what? I hated Stephen Harper, but that's an insult to Stephen Harper. Like, that's not very nice.
Yeah.
But good for you for knowing Stephen Harper.
We have so many reality shows in America that we're like, you know what? Electing one as a president doesn't seem like that big of a deal. So, yeah, let's do that. And people really did think, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? And then every day we have a brand new what's the worst thing that's going to happen. And that's the hardest thing is you have to dig through the 20 scandals and figure out what's the thing you're most afraid of.
Well, what is it that they say? Like, if Donald Trump was 10 times better, he would seem worse because he kind of he actually doesn't seem so bad just from overdoing it. Like, we're just too exhausted to notice everything he's done.
I'm still holding on to thinking that in 3 years, you're going to find out that this last 4 years has just been a really, really big version of Survivor.
Except we might not survive.
And we can all laugh at it.
I don't know. We keep trying in America to make everything seem normal. And after 8 years of trying to pretend everything Obama did was horrible, then when the new regime comes in and is actually doing horrible things, people are like, it's not that bad. I mean, we're basically going for the serfs and, the feudalism system in our country. And it's like, well, it's not that bad. We still have some internet and we have sports and we're okay.
I've been having this conversation at work with my coworkers who are also pretty fun people. And we've decided.
Wait. You talk to other people than us?
Yes. You've met them. All of them. I don't have many friends.
I like how when I tell them tell Destin that I'd say like that I tell him and then I flip them a bird, then they do that for me. They love you. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Talk. Sorry.
Yeah, we've had this discussion at work, and we've come to the realization that modern society, capitalism, is just the same as slavery and serfism.
You guys are literal salesmen, like working the capitalist system.
It's just that the owner or the boss doesn't have to actually deal with getting us food or shelter or clothing. They give us a stipend and make us go get our own shit. It's no different. It's just cheaper and easier for the people that we work for.
Yep.
So capitalism is still the same as serfism or slavery.
Meanwhile, you're still, cheating hard-working people out of their money for those diamond coats.
Mm-hmm. Diamond coats. That's what I have.
Yeah, it's not the best of times. After they passed this tax cut bill that basically cuts the taxes for rich people and corporations, then they're going in and we're going to go after entitlements. Oh, you people who are getting welfare and you're getting, anything. We're going to take that away because we have to have the biggest military by like 10 times in any other country.
Because you don't believe in socialism.
That, our military should stay the same is like blasphemy in this country. Even the Democrats are like, yeah, we need, because we're having these real big air battles with Iraq right now. It could go either way. Or Syria or whatever the other 50 countries we're bombing right now. Yeah, it's not my favorite. You guys have you have a military, support us, right? Canada.
We rely on you. Let's be
Canada.
honest.
The funny thing is,
People don't hate us.
We have a very small military, but it's considered to be one of the best trained in the world.
Yeah, they're very professional. They're good at what they do insofar as they have the ability to do it. But
I think they still have the Canadian.
We're not allowed to play with the Americans anymore.
Really?
War games, no.
Really?
Well, yeah.
We don't need to get into that, though.
Yeah, no.
I've had friends who go train down in the States.
That's different. What's your background there, Zach? So obviously you do this podcast stuff, but what do you do that makes money?
Podcasting. Sorry.
Three really rich patrons.
Everybody makes tons of money on podcasting. I don't want anyone to take away their podcasting dreams. Email marketing by day, wannabe writer, a blog. I used to blog a lot more about sports, but sports, I don't know, it's kind of broken my heart in a way. But it's never broken my heart is beer, so I tend to write about that.
Very wise.
Beer never disappoints.
Well, it does, but then you know what's good, so you can switch back if you have a bad batch or two.
Well, no, but if it disappoints, you just drink more of it, then it's okay. Right.
What if it was non-alcoholic beer? What would you do then?
There's no such thing. There's beer and then there's not beer.
Well, that's just polluted water.
Or are you talking about like American beer? PBR?
I would make beer jokes, but I don't drink beer. I don't really care.
You said you do email marketing. Yeah. What kind of email marketing do you do?
Well, I work for a big media company, so I send emails telling people about, sure, you have our internet service and cable, but you probably should get more of it.
Oh, I see. So you're the one that's going to be selling people packages for internets.
Internets.
In a couple weeks.
We are going to be probably changing our laws. Mm-hmm. Although I was kind of wondering, our almost super majority with Republicans here that they weren't passing anything, but then now they all of a sudden they haven't technically passed that tax bill, but they probably will.
Well, that's because they're trying to cram through shit before Trump gets impeached.
Well, that's what I meant about what they claimed Obama did. They said, oh, they crammed this healthcare bill. I was they were working on that thing for 10 months, and the Democrats were doing this weird thing called they weren't just compromising, they were pre-compromising. It was a Republican idea to start with, and then it became this terrible socialist thing. And it's you guys have socialized healthcare, and somehow you seem to be okay, you know? And it's like the worst thing ever. I mean, our propaganda is world class. You got to give us that.
It's amazing. Your biggest expenditure is socialist. And everybody's fighting to give them more money.
What are you talking about?
Military.
Even the military is saying they don't need more money.
That's true, yeah. It's funny, in Canada, we never call our socialized healthcare system socialized medicine. We never call it that. Like
universal healthcare.
We call it universal healthcare. We don't call it socialized. We call it, I mean, it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying we don't call it that. I remember we had, like, I work in a hospital. I remember we had a rep come down once from the States, and he installed some weird keypad by our machine, and I was like, "What the hell is this? Looks like a debit machine." But like, we don't need that here because our patients don't pay out of pocket. And he's like, "Well, somebody must pay." Like, he was really upset, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, sorry, like." You're getting paid for being here. Calm down, buddy. Like, anyways.
The biggest difference is, we have socialized healthcare, and we have EPA standards still for the next little while, maybe. But what's your total? What percentage do you pay in taxes total, like from your income?
That'd be a wonderful question to answer. I can't say.
He makes too much money. That's why.
He's rich.
Comcast just gives you too much.
Never spoken to rich people before.
Abs, man.
We pay upwards, like, depends on your tax bracket, but the average Canadian, their total tax that gets taken is about 28%. Some people pay more.
But what about HST, PST, GST? You're paying.
I'm not talking about.
You're talking about income tax, but what about
talking
about the amount of tax that you pay to buy anything?
They have that in the States too. They just incorporate it into the pricing.
Do they?
Yeah. They have
it's like
15%?
Like 7% in Georgia. It does depend on what you're buying.
Yeah.
It's actually higher on beer, which is very sad, but that's okay. We'll get over that.
Yeah, we pay our sin taxes too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's plus 30%. I don't know. I just feel like it's great propaganda because we really do have in America. It's like socialism for the rich, and then capitalism for the poor. Like, you think about like the National Football League, our big sports league. It's really socialism because they all get the same amount of money, but then they pretend they're all capitalists, and it's really only capitalism for the lower rung.
Isn't it the way it works? It's like the NFL is very socialist, but yet baseball is very capitalist because, like, you have, like, say, the New York Yankees who can just they'll sign checks to just have very talented people just sit on the pine, just so other teams can't have them.
Yeah, it's definitely more even in the NFL, like the lowest team versus the highest payroll, like in baseball. I think they've evened it out a little more, but it is baseball after all. Now, how on earth did, like, America steal all your hockey teams? Like, my parents live in Nashville, and they were just very excited last year because the Predators made the finals, and it's like, what happened to Canada and the NHL? I don't get it, man.
I like how you're having trouble saying Canada. You're
Canada.
Like, Canada.
That's okay.
That's awesome. No, it's awesome. It's good. I wasn't.
I think that
Isn't the commissioner
awesome.
for the NHL some big prick who's making all these teams move to the States? And
pretty much, it's because it's based on population base, so you have more population down there, so that's why they want to set them up down south, even though it's.
But it makes no sense. I mean, every Canadian team has every game almost sold out or close to sold out, and the seats range from $100 to $300 or something each. Yeah. Whereas in the States, you can get a seat down in Florida for $20, and the stadium's like a third full. Like, how can they be making money?
Their stadiums hold like 5 times the people ours hold.
Really? Huh.
And in the States,
but those are also government.
In the States, it's all football.
Subsidized. Yeah. No. Yeah.
They make there's more money in the university league down there than there is in our CFL, the Canadian Farm League, as I call it, because we're just a farm league for the NFL.
We're a sweet.
I just checked for fun so Bridgestone, where the Nashville Predators play, is 20,000, and the Tennessee Titans, it's 70, and most of the colleges in the SEC, which is like in the South, they're like in the 90,000 range, which is just crazy.
What?
College football down there is huge.
The top thing here.
Wow. That's amazing.
So 90,000 people, even if the tickets are $10, they're still making almost $1 million.
Wow.
Just in that.
The capacity of the Saddle Dome is 20,000.
Yeah.
Where I'm from. So.
That's what I'm saying.
Went to a game at the University of Tennessee, which is in Knoxville, which probably has a population of 300,000. There were 20,000 empty seats, and there were 90,000 people there.
Yeah.
Holy Christmas cakes.
It was like, wait a second.
But how much is a seat?
Probably not cheap. It was like $50 or something. I mean,
how much?
They do some like $50. That's your
nosebleeds in Canada for any. Nah, you can't even get a seat that cheap in a hockey game. No.
Not for hockey, but football. You can get a
for
good
football.
seat for
You can.
$50.
You could, yeah. Well, maybe more like 70 or 80. But that's $50 American.
No. It's $40 to go to a Rider game.
Okay, so I'm going to say 2 words here, and I want to see how you react to it, because I don't get to say these very often in America.
Yay.
Blue Rodeo.
You just laugh.
Some songs are good, others,
My dad likes them.
Yeah. People that like Blue Rodeo love
Blue Rodeo. Yeah,
Rodeo.
they're big fans. And they're old.
Not a big fan.
No.
Well, they're old now. I mean, I discovered them when I was in college with this friend of mine, and like anytime I talk to them in Canada, I'm like, Blue Rodeo. Oh yeah, they were complaining about this thing with the Indians or something, but. Yeah, they do. I mean, yeah, they're getting up there. They're 50s, 60s now. But I had that just one Canada reference. I am not getting with you guys at all.
That's all good. Grab a pen and paper. Write down these 2 words: the Headstones.
Yes, definitely.
This is an unpopular opinion, especially since Gord Downie just died recently. But the Headstones is the best band in Canada.
Well, I'll look them up. Sounds good to me.
Dave's laughing in the other room with his mic off.
Don't even start, Dave.
I can't even think of who I think would be the best
close.
Canadian
Not
band.
even
Who do you
close,
think,
guys.
Dave? Who do you think?
Well, first of all, I think picking a best band is kind of a silly idea.
It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
But if you had to arbitrarily choose.
If I had to pick based on like skill and like interest, I'd pick Rush.
Of course you would.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yes. You win. Yeah,
Rush can go down to Brazil.
There's a difference
a 100,000 seat stadium
Sure.
because they're that amazing.
Yeah.
So
there's a difference between talented and good.
Well, Rush is amazing. No, I disagree with that one.
Rush is.
Well, Rush has got to have some nostalgia in there though too, right? Like, because you got
They're an amazing band. Yes. Their music, yeah.
The Headstones is like repetitive 4/4 nonsense. It's like, who cares?
If you choose not to decide. No, really? Nothing? How can you? What's wrong with you?
No. Anyways.
Dave, that's close to blasphemy in my world. But anyway.
Here's though, Rush. I have no idea.
What's that? Have they?
You never heard of Rush?
I've heard of Rush, but it seems like all their songs are from like 1984. So I just didn't know.
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
they don't play anymore because they're that old. But
It's sort of like going to see Led Zeppelin tour or whatever, but
Yeah.
except the band's not half dead. Like it's like.
Half Dead, yeah, or Rolling Stones.
Well, no.
We just send all the music down there that we don't want here. We gave you guys Celine Dion,
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. That's good enough.
You're welcome.
Oh, and
Who?
Ramen Noodlehead moved down there.
I don't know who that is.
Nickelback.
I cut off all the Robin here.
Was it
But anyway.
Brian Ferry that Canada apologized for in the South Park movie? I was trying to remember which.
Brian Adams.
Yeah.
I love Brian Adams. Fuck
I don't
off.
apologize for that.
Fucking love Brian Adams. We're gonna go fuck themselves. Whatever. Okay, no, I think if I had to choose my favorite Canadian band of all time, it'd be like Bare Naked Ladies, but with what's his face? Have to have what's his face?
Stephen Page.
That guy. Yeah, that's my favorite.
I don't know. For the longest time, my joke was if there was someone that wasn't Canadian, I told them that they couldn't bash Tragically Hip, otherwise they'd get deported.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I've always loved the Hip. I've always loved the Headstones and Great Big Sea.
Oh, Great Big Sea, super good.
I like this. What's happening? I'm hearing voice.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, just having to be a mother for a moment.
Yeah. Not us.
No.
It's a nice studio you got there, though.
Yeah, we're moving again, though, apparently. This is called the Roman Empire Studios, and the move will be what, the 5th studio? Dave?
Let me think here. This is the 4th.
Yeah, and how many times has the Roman Empire changed their capital? I think it's still, what's it called?
Well,
Rome?
Well, there's a difference. So they don't exist anymore. And I still do.
Rome still exists.
Well, not the empire.
Not the empire.
No.
It's not my fault.
Someday they'll strike back.
It's not my fault.
I know.
I want to get all this internal dissension, stirred up. That's what I'm all about, stirring up people.
Oh, it's okay. We do it all the time.
We come pre-stirred, really.
Yeah. Like a good margarita. So what's the, you do a lot of interviews. You've done way more than we have. What's the secret to doing a good interview on a podcast?
We obviously have no idea.
Yeah, we suck at it. Besides knowing who the fuck you're talking to and what they're about.
I mean, I do like to do research on the people I'm interviewing, and sure, it's
Say
nice
that word again?
What's that one that started with the R?
Nice to ask someone a question they haven't heard before, and you hear that, oh, that's a good question, which is basically translated as, oh, crap, I need to take a few seconds to think about this, which is fine. I mean, I didn't come up with a signature question. Like in my fantasy football, I had a question, what do you think about more, sex or football? And that always came up with interesting answers. But on this side, it's just like, what do you think of more, sex or Jesus? I don't know. It just doesn't work. So I haven't quite done that yet. But really, it's just, I don't know, trying to engage people. I mean, in terms of like if somebody has a podcast or a blog or something, I want people to know about it. I'm kind of bad that way. I'm like, hey, listen to this other person instead of me. That's what tends to happen. I'm like, oh, go. You're going to really love this person. Wait, you're going to like them more than me. But honestly, there's a twofold reason to doing this show. First of all, it lets me kind of talk about atheism openly once a week. Second of all, if I ask a question, that gives me a lot of time to just sip my beer while the other person talks for the next 20 minutes, which is great. Because I'm all here. I think I've done 2 of my interviews. Actually, I'm trying to think, like, the number of times my guest has had more to drink than me. Well, one of them was for Raph, and I'm trying to think. It's probably 2. So, yeah.
It's always easier to be the one asking the questions because you ask a question, then while they're answering it, it gives you time to think of another one, too.
I mean, I don't think I don't have this story like, oh, I was a missionary and I wanted to be a priest when I was 21 and I changed my mind. It's like, no, I never really had the religion thing in me. And then I discovered how, like, why does everybody think this? And why does everybody think this is that important? And why is this so big in our politics? I mean, you probably have to be just laughing and crying on a daily basis about, like, Roy Moore and all that stuff. Like, these kind of people should be not even a consideration, but they are the people making our decisions in our country. And it's a little bit scary at times, and sometimes maybe you have to laugh to kind of like balance it out, but you definitely need to talk about it because there aren't that many of us.
Well, when I lived in the States, I used to live in Alabama, and I lived in Hollywood Beach, Florida.
Real America right there.
Yeah. Real America. And this would have been back in the early 80s. So you can blame some of it on Coke, I'm sure. Well, especially in Hollywood Beach, Florida. But
now it's meth.
Now it's meth. Or what's that other new one? Straka or whatever. It's pretty nasty. Anyway, I noticed that the church had the power through government to indoctrinate, and they still do. Like when I was going to school every day, fucking the Lord's Prayer and the American National Anthem and the Allegiance, Pledge of Allegiance every day in grade 2. It was brutal.
Well, I didn't even know that like the Christian flag was a thing until we went to I went to ReasonCon in North Carolina. It was the like atheist conference, and there were these 2 protesters, and they were in a minivan, and they were flying the Christian flag. I was like, what is that thing with the cross? Oh, it's a Christian flag. They have a flag? Okay.
I didn't realize there was a Christian flag specifically.
Places, the Christian flag flies above the American flag because that's how people do it.
That's a new one on me. I'll chalk that one up to a learned experience.
Well, it's the Roman cross on a white background, right?
Pretty much, yeah. But I do like the Gulf Coast. It's a little weird part of the country, but I just like, the Redneck Riviera is pretty nice.
Redneck Riviera, yes, sir.
Great beaches for the crowd.
Yeah, you never run out of cars, you just run out of tires.
Oops.
Anything? Everybody's okay?
Oh, my son hit his head.
Oh.
I think he will survive.
That's character.
Well, I tell him that, but it's hard to convince a kid that.
Especially when you're the one hitting him in the head. Yeah, I know.
He hit himself in the head for the public record. I think he'll probably survive.
I was just thinking you mentioned Roy Moore.
Roy Moore.
Roy. He's pretty much a stereotype brought to life, isn't he?
Yes.
He's been kicked out of the judiciary twice. I was thinking, in terms of jobs where you still get the title attached to you, even though you don't do it anymore. If you're a football coach for 5 seconds, you get to be called coach the rest of your life. And if you're a judge and you get kicked out twice because you're too much of a theocrat, you still get called judge. And that's the case with Roy Moore. It's where could I go and do a job where I don't have to know anything? Oh, Senate. Yeah, that's perfect. So,
well, I've thought it was funny.
He could be a Megatron guy, but no, Senate. Okay.
I thought it was funny because they had an interview just recently where he was talking about defending the Constitution. And yet he was basically kicked off the bench twice for breaking the Constitution. American politics. It's
a very
too funny.
selective situation.
What was that, sorry?
It's a very selective situation.
Yeah.
Not really. They can only count to 2. 1 and 2.
He was the one that said that, well, he was probably not the one, but that basically the separation or what is it? It's only free speech only applies to Christians.
Yeah.
This is a Christian nation.
It's like the idea of freedom of religion. Yeah, as long as you believe in God, you have the freedom to believe in God. That's not how it works.
And you're forgetting Jesus.
Yeah,
the right Jesus.
Oh, what do you think about, what's his name, running against Kim Davies? Did you see that?
Oh, in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, the picture on Reddit today was great. It was the guy that she had stopped from getting married, sitting across from her, filling out the paperwork to run against her for her job this year.
That's perfect. That's
amazing.
Beautiful.
It's a nice idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of like, where was that? Danica Rome taking out the
Virginia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The trans woman was yes. Because the guy was basically trans people are less than human, and then a trans person beats them. It's yes. That is perfect.
I have a question. We interview a lot of Americans on this show, American atheists for the most part, people in the community. They're pretty much all left-leaning. Is this a selection effect from Corey choosing people, or are atheists really just left-leaning? That's my question.
Well, I would say that before, but there seems to be this kind of backlash going on where people are oh no, Americans at universities are way too left. We have to be in the center. Everybody wants to say they're in the center, even though it's kind of right in this country. But for the most part, I'd say left-leaning Democrat for the most part. There are gay Republicans, so sure there's some Republican atheists out there, but there aren't that many.
Oh, I know lots of religious gay people. Anyway, it's just interesting. Even on is it that being okay, whatever. If you're smart enough to be an atheist like us, I'm going to say that atheists are very smart people.
You don't have to be smart to be an atheist.
Okay, well, let's say let's say that's true. Okay, let's just give that. Does that mean that
for the sake of argument?
Well, so I used to know a professor in university who would say, like, because most people in academia are quite left leaning, right? There's not a lot of conservative people in academia, and he would argue, well, look, if you say that people in academia are the smartest people that whatever like, are on average very smart, shouldn't everyone like just believe us when we say that left leaning policies are better? Like this was he was a very like egotistical man, and he honestly kind of insufferable. But like that was the argument that he made, and I wonder if it's like, I mean, I feel like as you go up. As you meet people who are smarter and smarter, I often find they're often atheists. I mean, I don't know many people that I think are like at the top of their field in science who are super religious. Like I don't really know any.
There are some. I wouldn't say
no. Are there?
Yeah, there are. I know some people that are theoretical physicists that are Christian.
No, but like I'm talking like top of the
Christian.
field. I'm talking like the people that get cited. Not like there's so many people.
Whoever they all get cited if they have
no,
a paper
I'm talking
that's
about the
worth reading.
no.
I would say that most of them are skeptics.
Okay.
More of them would be skeptics than anything else. Because they would be prone to logic, right? And if you're prone to logic and skepticism, there's a better chance of you being an atheist. That's just my opinion.
You think it's like a selection bias based on how you think, how you're trained to think, maybe?
Sure, because if you think, then you shouldn't be religious.
That's how I feel. Like, I mean, I totally feel that. Like, I have so many friends who are like agnostic-y. They're just like, well, you never know. And I'm like, I really feel like you're not thinking this through. Like, or they'll be like, they're not very religious. They're like, I don't know why religious people want to like, I don't know, be so mean to other people. The Bible says to be nice to other people. I'm like, no, the Bible is like incredibly contradictory. Like it's not consistent. Like, no, it pretty much is. I'm like, no, like you just haven't thought about it enough. Like, you know what I mean? Sorry, it's a rant, but imagine that was a question. What do you think?
I mean, you're still officially like under England, so don't you have a church in Canada, but people are definitely less religious in America? I mean, I don't think that's a stretch.
No, we don't actually have a recognized religion.
You mean an official
recognized religion?
No, we're not like part of the British Empire. So
we're part of the Commonwealth.
But we're not. The Church of England is not involved in our government in any way, as far as I know.
No.
There's this thing where you kind of want to fit in. I think in America, like, religion is just ubiquitous. It's everywhere. I said that as well as Canada. And you just want to belong and you want to be the majority. So I think people lean Christian just because of that. And they go, well, Jesus said some great things. You're like, well, let me tell you that Jesus, saying the world was going to end and leave your family and all that. No, the good stuff, that's okay. So that's good enough for a lot of people. So they go along, and there's no...
well, and you still have states where you can't hold a public office unless you're religious.
Like all of them?
No, not all of them. But there are lots of them where you can't be... in the Senate, you can't be
like legally or effectively.
Legally, It's right in the state's laws.
Sorry, I thought you meant effectively. I didn't realize you meant like.
Technically, it is. Yeah, it's not legal because it has been like tested in the Supreme Court. But there are a lot of states where that's still in the books, and no one's going to take it out. It's not going to happen like Texas.
Like with respect to politics in Canada, like we don't. Like even we have like leaders who are religious, but they don't really flaunt it so much typically. Like it's who got made fun of for saying God bless Canada in a speech once? Was it Harper? And it was just like, what? I think Trudeau Senior introduced that. Like he was like, like religion is something personal. We don't talk about it in public. Like it's not, it's just like our government is kind of more, tries to be more secular in our politics. It doesn't win you a lot of votes. I mean, you kind of got to be like slightly. Like remember in Stockwell Day, he like would not campaign on Sundays, and he was probably one of our most religious prime ministers ever. And so I think he got some support from the religious people that way. But generally, Canadians like, don't talk about that shit. Like we're very proper with our.
Brad Wall's pretty religious.
Yes. But that's who he's trying to like appeal to. But even he doesn't like. Even if he gives a speech, he doesn't talk about God all the time. And does he?
Yeah, he'll say a public prayer and shit like that.
Yeah, that's more of a ritual than.
But if you compare it to like an American speech, even like Obama, like just like sometimes the way he talked, I'm just like, fuck off.
That's because you're not going to get elected in the U.S. unless you're religious.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Trump did.
But he said he was religious.
Oh, right.
Well, he said his favorite. I still don't really Trump. Like, if you can think at all, it's like everybody thinks he's this great populist. Like, he's not. Everybody's like, oh, he's got this great. Like, he's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. I'm like,
he doesn't even know what game to play.
No,
I don't think he's even playing. X's and O's.
Like, a good businessman, and it's like he created a brand, but he's gone bankrupt so many times. I mean, he is kind of a unique American story.
Well, he was born rich and maintained being rich.
For president, you know.
I feel like I really people say this that who's the guy who makes Dilbert, Scott Adams or Douglas? Which one is he?
Scott
Adams. So, thank you, Douglas Adams is Hitchhiker's Guide. I always forget that shit. Anyways, but he says that he has this idea that like Trump is some mastermind, is manipulating everyone, and I really see him more as like an intuitive populist. He intuits what will get a reaction out of people, which is why he's so inconsistent, right? He tries shit and he just goes on feelings of what he thinks will make people like him, but it's not at all like thought out or planned out. It's just like it's pure like vomit, like it's just whatever comes out, you know, like that's my impression of him.
Nothing sticks to him. Like,
no,
Al Franken just had to like retire, and then like if you're a Republican, it's like, yeah, but we need to get our votes, so never mind. And it's like things that stick to. There's been like 100 things that have happened to Trump where you're like, oh, he's done, and it didn't happen. And maybe in part it's because the rest of the Republicans are like lizard people that were running, like Ted Cruz, and just people who can't complete a sentence. Trump can barely complete a sentence. You hear, like, look at his transcripts of his interviews. Like,
They're
man,
terrible.
this guy on Scrabble.
Well, with Trump though, I think it's like scandal exhaustion. Like he just keeps them coming so quickly that you can't. Like if he just had one of those scandals,
just grab him
it
by
would
the
have
scandal.
ended him. But like because it was just one after the other, it just you was dizzying. You know, like it just.
I think that what it is with Trump is that he is. Everyone voted for him because they didn't want a standard politician. No, he's a douchebag businessman.
Yeah, he's an outsider. He says whatever he says off the cuff things, and people just eat it up, and they just can.
Schrodinger's Trump. I didn't say that. I said that. I didn't say it. I said it.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Anyway, all right. So where can we find your stuff for our listeners? All 4 of them. I'm kidding. We have more than 4 listeners.
We have at least 5.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Well, if you go to sadly, I don't really have a website, but you go to Zachrilegecast on Facebook, at Zachrilege on Twitter, and that's ZACHRILEGE, and I can spell it after 2 beers, so you can too. Easy to find. Basically, look up Zachrilegecast, and every week I try to interview somebody, and occasionally I'll bring in some people I've interviewed before, but it's just a fun hour of just kind of chatting and then getting to know people.
So kind of like what we tried to do that we didn't do very well tonight. We're sorry about that. We weren't prepared to lose our fearless leader, but like I said earlier, he's busy recording his own solo album of Bieber covers. So.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, Corey singing "Baby." Yeah,
He's a pretty good, singing voice. So I'm like, you got to chase the dream. That's what it's all about.
It's beautiful.
Well, Corey's trying to get that same physique, right? So it's after that Bieber look. All right. Well, was there anything else that you can tell us tonight, or we're right about at our 1 hour mark here?
No, just it's a lot of fun to do the interviews. It's a little nerve-wracking sometimes to actually talk about myself, but if I can throw in some obscure 20 years out of date Canadian band references, clearly I can make my way through.
Well, we don't have too much that's current, so
and prove that it exists.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like Blue Rodeo came to town like last summer, and it was all over the radio. Like it's not. Don't worry about it, man.
Well, they come to Atlanta like once every 3 years, and there's like 100 people there. So yeah, but
they're obscure here too. Don't worry about it.
They have their following.
Yeah,
They have their following. Yeah.
they're dying though slowly.
Everyone's dying slowly.
They're all over 50.
Yeah.
They're following.
All right. Well, I guess we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us, Zach. Appreciate it. Anybody that wants to catch him, Facebook page, Zachrilegecast. Also, you do some stuff on YouTube, right? Some of your stuff's on there?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Basically, YouTube, I do that because it's the easiest way to record my audio. So I do it on YouTube, and then I burn the audio and post it to iTunes and, podcatchers of all sorts. So it is on video. It's also on audio. So it's up to you which way you want to consume the product.
Sure. Make sure you join his Patreon account, too. Go monthly, though, so you don't have to pay extra fees for every week.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm like your best friend ever if you go monthly. It's all good stuff.
Right on. Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us, Zach. Appreciate it. For everyone else, we're going to get into our ad break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
All right. Here we go. See you later, Zach.
So you keep going, man. That's strong.
All right, man. Here we go. Commercials. See ya.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug, or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/brainstorm podcast gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
Tired of living in a culture of lies, fake news, and alternative facts? The Pro-Truth Pledge reverses the tide of lies by calling on politicians and everyone else to commit to truth-oriented behaviors. Take the pledge at protruthpledge.org.
Hi, I'm Trav Mamone.
And I'm Morgan Stringer.
Do you like drunken rants, major shade throwing, and semi-funny skits?
Do you often find yourself reading the news and thinking, are you shitting me?
Then check out the Bi Skeptical podcast.
Every 2 weeks, we discuss politics, religion, and current events from a skeptical point of view.
You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher.
Check us out, because in the end, we're all a little bi-curious.
All right, welcome back to the Skeptic Studio, episode 34. This is our total episode 88. You got me, Gumby, Lisa, Rene.
Hello.
Again, Corey's not here because he's out doing fundraising for the Flat Earth Society, so sorry about that. So I'm going to go right into his story.
Dave's not here either.
Dave's not here, man.
He didn't even let me say hi. Don't feel bad, Dave.
You got to say hi once.
He didn't even introduce me.
All right, yeah, yours is worse. Sorry,
okay,
man.
Sorry. And the always amazing Dave, who can't seem to keep a studio.
Gee, bus. That's mean.
Yeah. I do what I love for a living. I can't complain.
We're the studio will be moving, so the next episode will be recorded in a freshly painted room. So we should all be just fucked off.
We're going to be high.
Woo! It's going to be a good show.
Oh man, it'd be great if you moved right before July.
Right before July.
Yeah. So then, when weed's legal, you'd have fresh paint at the same time.
Oh, yeah, but weed's already legal.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then I got high.
I broke this
Then
thing.
I got high.
How did I unbreak this?
You just walk into a store and buy it now.
Yeah.
So
because nobody cares.
nobody cares.
All right, so I'm going to do.
Ever care? Was anyone ever
not really.
No,
The police were stupid. But
Did they? Were they?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Well,
Depending on the city.
it's their job. They're supposed
What about here?
Oh, here they used to bust people all the time.
Yeah.
For pot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan's a very
I am
backwards
really
place.
sure they have better shit to do in this city than that shit.
Oh, they definitely do.
Just try living in Weyburn.
Yeah, Weyburn's even worse, yeah.
I remember, now this is getting off topic, but I was walking home.
Surprise!
We don't do that.
I was walking home one day, and I used to wear a trench coat, right?
Yeah, I see that.
And this is when I
can't do that.
had like a foot tall purple mohawk. I lived right across from the police station, and there was a police lady, and she's like, "I'm going to search you." I'm like, "No, you're not." She's like, "No, I think your jacket is suspicious, and I think you have some illegal stuff in your jacket." I'm like, "I don't care." She's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I don't have to tell you that either."
Oh.
Am I under arrest for anything? Well, no. Then you're going to get out of my way, and I'm going to go home.
Whoa!
And
fuck!
yeah, when I was like 19 years old, I just didn't give a
Destin.
shit.
And then what happened?
Well, then I went home, and she saw me walk into my building, and then when I came out, there was another cop out there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Destin." I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?"
That's called white privilege if I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I did that, I'd be fucking handcuffed in 5 seconds.
Also, I had a couple ounces of weed in my pocket. All right, so Corey's story is from the bchumanist.ca.
Do we have the bumper? Are we going to play the bumper?
Oh, yeah, we got Religious Nuttery, sorry.
This is Religious Nuttery.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Cornerstone, this might be new to some of you. Scripture says that even our righteous deeds are as filthy rags to God. So even the good things that you do, even things like feeding the hungry and clothing the poor and taking in widows and orphans, as nice as those things are, if not done from the place of obedience to and a relationship with God, are completely worthless and disgusting to God. If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
I really hate that fucking bumper.
I think that's why Rene
That's the
always like
point. That's the
you
point.
never forget that bumper because you love it so much because it's so
Yeah.
bad.
All right, so Corey's story is from bchumanist.ca. On November 30th and December 1st, the Supreme Court of Canada heard arguments over whether the Evangelical Trinity Western University's proposed law school must be recognized by Canadian law societies. Trinity Western University has specific prohibitions against sex outside of straight marriage within its community covenant. What is basically a set of rules that students have to adhere to in order to attend the school. So the idea is that the school has a rule that prohibits the sexual activity of all students, but because they use heterosexual, it specifically discriminates towards members of the LGBTQ community. It means that their case is being framed in terms of two conflicting sections of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The first one is Section 2A, which is a freedom of religion, and the second one is Section 15, which guarantees equal treatment. BC Humanists first approached this in court by saying that organizations shouldn't be able to claim religious rights under Section 2A of the Charter. Argument for that is that Charter rights under 2A apply to people, not organizations, because the organization would be viewed as representing the community, which it might not actually be representing people within that community. Court is withholding judgment until sometime in early 2018. So my opinion is they shouldn't have to be recognized by the Canadian Law Society for other reasons. I read about this a while ago, and a lot of the prerequisites, the requisite classes, just doesn't meet up with the rest of the Canadian Law Society standards. So I have the problem with that.
Just to be clear, that university is trying to get their law school approved so that when their students graduate, they can be lawyers. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay, and then
By breaking the law while they're doing it.
and then the humanists are taking them to court to say no, you can't because you discriminate against gays.
Yes. Well, not gays, LGBTQ. Anybody that's not heterosexual.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to be Corey. Be politically fucking correct.
That is like not something Corey would say. Corey would have corrected me so much more nicely.
Yeah, well,
I would have felt good about myself after.
That's just not how Gumby rolls.
Sorry, I forgot. I only thing I forgot was the L, T, B, Q's. I didn't forget the G's.
All I'm hearing is wah, 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 wah.
Fuck.
And it's not from your kids.
Mean.
Rene, opinions?
It's just a Christian school trying to up jump, and it's just stupid. Like,
fuck them. I think fuck them. I think if I don't even understand how it's legal for any institution. I don't care if it's public or private.
Because it wasn't this one
say anything with the sex lives of anyone. Like fuck off.
They don't.
They say if you want to be in this school, you can't have sex outside of heterosexual marriage. So I think fuck off. That's my opinion on that.
Well, to quote Trudeau Sr., the government or a school has no place in the bedroom. So
that is absolutely my opinion. And I don't think that any institution should be able to do it. I don't care if they're privately funded or do they get public money at all?
I'm not sure.
Because we've talked about this school.
I know we have before.
Yeah.
Too bad you're not Corey and informed.
Yeah. It's not a story I care about.
Do I care? I guess if you're stupid enough to go to the university, then fuck.
Because
whatever.
Because this is the same one. They're trying to base their teachings of law based and through a Christian theology ideal, isn't it?
You know what? Though that really shouldn't be allowed. Because if I'm needing a lawyer and I can hire somebody who's certified with the bar, but they went to that fucking school, I don't want them. I don't.
That's the same thing as the medical practice. Like anything that's marked on the bell curve, I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want the guy that should have failed at pass because they need to pass so many people.
Well, haven't you heard, what do you call the guy who gets a
Hello, everybody.
What do you call the guy who gets a C- in med school?
Doctor.
Doctor, yeah. I made him a guy.
Yeah.
Of course you did, because you're sexist.
Yes, I am. Fucking hate men so fucking much.
Did your boyfriend listen to this show?
No.
All right, I guess
I had a smart ass comment, but I'm not gonna make it.
What? Come on! I went there. I was just joking.
Well,
I like some men.
After that comment,
I like
how did you forget the L in the LGBT after a comment like that?
Yeah. I did forget the L's. It's funny. My sister's an L. Forgot her.
Yeah, Jesus.
Jerk. Sorry, Joelle.
You guys are forgetting
Crazy
TI
dyke.
plus
Sorry,
all
what?
that other stuff too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's a whole lot we're forgetting.
Okay, whatever.
We're forgetting the O for the other kin. We're forgetting the
non-heterosexual people.
We're forgetting the nons, just the non-sexual.
It's easier just to talk about who we're.
How about everybody that's not regular straight people?
Regular. Oh,
Regular.
fuck. Okay, let's just move on.
Well, there's irregular straight people like
yeah,
me.
we are just
Without
so
Corey, we are so
we've
bad.
just buried ourselves.
Why did
so
we let you
deep.
lead the show? I'm so confused.
I got voluntold.
Well, yeah.
And he's got a big mouth, so that's
yeah. I can talk and I can
What's
read.
Corey doing? He's digging wells in Africa for sick children. Is that right?
Yeah, he's digging up poisoned water for them.
Or is he carrying it in a
If they
bucket on his
die,
head
they're
for
not
them?
sick anymore.
That's a true statement.
I heard he was going to Alberta to see Ken Ham speak. That's what I heard. Is that?
That's
not
no,
true?
yeah, that's exactly
He
it.
actually might do that, right? Like that's actually sounds like. I mean, not to really.
That's right after the Nickelback show he's going to. Right? All right, so my story is actually kind of fun and kind of stupid, kind of like me. Can princesses be hairy? So Disney creates a male princess character embracing transgendered psychosis.
What?
This is obviously an alt-right article.
Wow, when it's
the way it's
what is
written.
it? Conservative.
Okay,
Conservative Tribune.
So confused. I'm eating more of your gummies.
Yeah, go ahead. So this is the article they wrote. Can princesses be hairy? Can princesses
Wait, what's the
be
source
male?
on this?
The Conservative Tribune. So
you just
know,
said that.
Yeah, so you know.
Oh,
it's-
sorry, I don't.
Maybe
listen.
if you'd listen to the show when you're on it at least. Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that. Probably our two other audience members probably missed it too. So
Can princesses be hairy? Can princesses be male? Is being a princess a state of mind? No matter how much your young daughter may believe the last one, the answer is sadly still no. On the other two counts, I suppose 1, it depends on shaving habits in the kingdom we're talking about here. And 2, not so much. That's a pretty good chance. You think the same way, I would wager, and according to Disney, you're wrong. Because you're wrong. So, there's a new episode of Star versus the Forces of Evil, which airs on Disney XD. In the episode, a character named Marco Diaz has disguised himself as a princess in order to save the denizens of St. Olga's Reform School for wayward princesses from the headmistress, the evil Miss Heinous.
Miss what?
Heinous.
Sorry, I didn't hear the H.
This being a cable channel aimed at preteens, the transgender princess is named Turdina. In the episode, Turdina is about to out himself to the other princesses as being male when Miss Heinous barges in, produces evidence, chest hair, that Turdina really isn't a princess. So the whole problem I have with this article is who gives a shit? If you are a princess, if you would decide to identify yourself as a princess, right?
I'm very confused. Like, sorry, this is all fake. This is all fake, right?
Yeah,
well, it's a cartoon.
It is
Is it a real
show.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does this really happen, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Because I watched the clip. And it's much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
Because all it is the guy went undercover.
It's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, it is. It's Mrs. Doubtfire.
So that he's not trans.
No.
He's just in drag.
He's just in drag. He's pretending to be a princess. He pulled off the dress and said, no.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
this is it's a bit of a tangent, but that's what we do. Like, is there something, just me, or like these ultra conservatives, like, are they intentionally not understanding these concepts, or are they?
Oh no, they just totally reading whatever the fuck they want
like,
into it.
Like, I remember Ann Coulter giving a speech. It was around Pussygate, right? Like Trump grabbing women's pussies.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's Ann Coulter.
Yeah, I know, but she was trying to justify Trump's behavior by quoting like a Nicki Minaj song in which she says something about like whatever, like eat my pussy or something like that. And it was so like, she's like, see, how come it's okay when this rapper does it, but it's not okay when Trump does it? And it's like, but you're totally missing the concept of consent. Are you purposefully doing that? Are you really just
Coulter,
that
so
stupid?
yes. Yes, on both counts for Ann Coulter.
I don't even like. But this is like another example. Like, are you trying to misinterpret this, or do you just really not understand that trans people are not the same as people in drag? Like, I don't like,
because the thing is,
but they don't know anybody, right? Like, no. I know a guy who dresses up in drag and does corporate events and blah blah blah. But he's a man, and he knows he's a man. He calls and I get that it's. I don't know. Is it just because you don't know anybody like that? Is it because you're just that sheltered?
That's the thing, is that they're reading into this, and that in the clip in the cartoon I watched in the articles, like, because he took the dress off and no, I'm a man. And he goes, yeah, but he had all the other princesses going, yeah, but it's okay that if you call yourself a princess and all this, it's part of the joke, but they freak out because, oh my God, someone might think it's normalized.
Shouldn't it be normalized for people who feel like they were born in the wrong body?
They're reading into it. I remember.
Yeah, but that's not even what it's about. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's not even about that.
Yes.
They're blowing it out of proportion.
It's just like they made a big stink about Shark Tale. Like, how old is that cartoon? Like,
forever ago.
Like 10, 15 years old. But because they had the shark dressed up as a dolphin and, you're normalizing this. And they got out and protested and shit. The
problem with alt-right is they have no real arguments against the big stories. So anytime they can try to nickel and dime shit apart, they will.
Am I doing this? Am I intentionally not understanding their perspective?
No.
Okay.
The funny thing I'm thinking with this is they make a big deal about all this stuff, but they never. Was there any protest when Bugs Bunny would dress up as a female?
No, it's fucking hilarious.
Like a female Viking? No.
Yeah.
No.
He was really sexy. He'd put on that lipstick. Oh my God.
That chest piece was nice.
It's good times.
Yeah.
Not just sometimes he dressed up just like in a dress and stuff.
Yeah.
He did a lot of Anywho, are we done with
Dave,
the story?
opinion? Thoughts, Dave?
No comment.
No comment.
I just like my cheesies.
Yeah. My opinion is, who gives a shit? Do what you want.
This is
Don't hurt anybody.
Like I don't know. People are freaking out over dumb things.
Shit that doesn't matter. Do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting other people. Nobody gives a fuck.
It's just it was pretty much a standard joke, whether it was, Mrs. Doubtfire, Tootsie, something like it. It's all the same shit. It's just a cartoon. But these people are like, they try to read into this that Hollywood has some nefarious...
A gay agenda.
Gay agenda, yes. And they're brainwashing the children. As
SpongeBob is gay.
Yeah, because, you watch enough SpongeBob and suddenly Jimmy's going to, turn out gay. When in reality, it could be just Jimmy turns out gay because Jimmy turns out gay.
Because he's gay.
Not because he watched SpongeBob, but...
Well, what is it? People on the right are afraid of gay people, not because they're afraid of gay people. They're just gay or they're afraid that dicks might be delicious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the reality is a lot of the youth I talk to now are identifying more and more as pansexual. And
what does that mean?
Pan's a
Not
dude
cool.
with a flute.
No.
Scott.
No. Pansexual literally means you just date who you date. Like there's no label to it. It's like who cares? Like if you're attracted to somebody, you're attracted to somebody. It doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit?
Doesn't matter who they are. Like
It does make sense because as a straight woman, I'm not attracted to all straight men.
Well, yeah, and even having said that,
and you're ridiculously attracted to Lisa. To
Angela. And myself.
I can be attracted to somebody apart from their biology.
Sure.
I love Angela. Do you think she's listening?
She better be.
Lachlan's supposed to be listening.
He made a comment earlier.
Yeah. Hi, Lachlan.
Yeah. He actually and he just said now derailments left and right, a nostalgic episode.
We're doing it for you, buddy. We're doing it for you. And because we can't help ourselves. Pansexual. I like that.
No, yeah.
What was the one you posted, though, this week about the smart people? Sapiosexual?
I can't remember.
That was hilarious. Sorry.
I didn't read that one, unfortunately.
You should read it.
I should read that. Sounds fun.
It's actually a terrible article, but the idea sounds funny. Anyways.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the Woo Report?
Woo! I think we have a proper bumper for that shit.
I'm not a scientist, but if I can tell you your science sucks, then your science really sucks.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
This is you.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
You're
Okay.
the Woo Report.
I'm the Woo Report. Okay, so let me just say, oh no, this isn't the thing. I promised Corey that I would actually prepare this week. I fucking did. I fucking read my article. So everyone, you can applaud me now. Okay.
And Corey's not even here. He's getting his ass waxed. He thinks that's more important than being on the show.
I thought it was his balls. No, I'm sorry.
He doesn't have those anymore. His ex-wife still has them. This is what you get for making me host it, motherfucker.
Good Lord, that's a lot of love. Anywho, okay, so my article is from Jezebel.com. Anti-medication goop summit experts claim AIDS treatment kills and GMOs cause depression.
That was an amazing headline. Oh my God.
It is pretty fucking amazing. Okay, so it's somewhat long, but I read it all, Corey. I read it because you told me to, and I fucking said I would read things. Okay, so here we go. So in January, there is going to be a summit, like some sort of conference held by Goop, which is, Gwyneth Paltrow's vaginal egg company.
It's hard to even keep a straight face.
This actually is beautiful. Okay. I just have to quote this directly, where for the reasonable price of $650 for a turmeric level ticket or $2,000 for a ginger level ticket, already sold out, you'll be treated to, quote, cutting edge panels of health defining doctors and experts, along with a hall of experimental activations ranging from binaural beats meditation to acupressure and tarot card readings. Like on Star Trek, they'd try to find actors who could do all the scientific, gobbledygook, right? That's how I feel about this. I can't say
just
this
without
shit.
any techno in
But
it.
there's no actual meaning or... Anyways, not that Star Trek had that. I mean, whatever. But honestly, you could calibrate things. Anyways. Okay, so they spend most of the article talking about a Dr. Kelly Brogan, who is a, quote, holistic health... Well, a holistic health psychiatrist. I should have looked into this, but I'm getting a psychiatrist is a person who went to med school. I think she actually went to med school.
She's a holistic psychiatrist.
No, but I think she
does psychiatry through
crystals.
Well, actually, yes. Okay, so I think she actually went to real schools. Like, what does it say here?
Thing is, you could probably start off at a real school and then.
Well, I think that's what she did. She actually went.
Did she go to Harvard?
The radio station, not the school.
HARVURD.
Fuck, I read the article, but I can't find it.
She's prepared,
But
Corey.
I think she went. I'm sorry, Corey. I'm really fucking trying. Okay. No, she went to a real school, but now she's a real kook. So she is somebody who claims that the notion that HIV causes AIDS is a, quote, meme brought upon us by the medical, scientific, industrial marriage, and that drug toxicity associated with AIDS treatment may very well be what accounts for the majority of deaths. Even though there is a overwhelming body of scientific evidence that shows if you take the antiretroviral drugs, you have a much lower chance of death, which is very interesting. So, yeah, she's very kooky. She seems nuts. And with respect to AIDS, she also believes that depression is not caused by issues with serotonin in your brain, but by GMOs. What is it here?
Basically, it's GMOs and a shitty diet. You're depressed because you haven't eaten enough vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I was vegan, that would make me depressed.
No bacon, so depressed.
Seriously, she actually thinks that this is that it's actually diet. Sorry, she thinks it's diet. She thinks so what she wants. So she's written articles called 5 Foods That Cause Depression that lists gluten, dairy, GMOs, sugar, artificial sugar, and vegetable oils as causing depression. She has an article called Why You Should Stop Taking Your Antidepressants. That sounds like a great idea for a psychiatrist to say. 3 beliefs Holly ditched when she stopped antidepressants, how to live a medication-free life, healing from depression, and psychiatric medication with community, blah, 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 blah. So she's pretty nutty. Interestingly, in her About section on her website, she talks about... Oh, here, sorry, she actually talks about training at NYU Medical Center and Cornell University Medical College, and she's a board-certified in psychiatry. So
she said she trained there. She didn't say she got degrees there.
No, but she seems to have actually done some legitimate things, which is absolutely bizarre. Anyway, she talks about on her website as well going to India, and somebody there was a woman who had immobilized with nausea, diarrhea, and pain, and all her friends wanted her to go see a doctor, but Dr. Brogan convinced her that to demand an opportunity to support her without medication or intervention. I knew in my heart that if she aligned with her body, she could move through this. She moaned and cried, vomited, and lost control of her bowels. But within 12 hours, she emerged. We joked that it felt like she had birthed the most beautiful baby, and we were all there to ooh and ah over it. So she refused to let somebody she was traveling with in India go get...
medical treatment, and luckily she survived and her fever broke without any medical stuff.
Without any medication. So this is a psychiatrist who doesn't believe in medication.
A psychiatrist who is nuts.
What do you call a doctor that got a C-? But
anyway, so she's going to be prominently featured at Goop's convention in a month or so. So if you're interested, you can't get the ginger level ticket now, but turmeric is still available. So please do go. And
I stopped caring as soon as you said Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, as soon as
you could,
to be honest.
If you really wanted to spend $650, you could become a patron of the Brainstorm podcast.
I think way,
and we'll take that in Canadian dollars.
We don't care.
Take it on
we'll
par.
be just as effective at healing things.
It's true. Just saying.
You know what? We could sit here and tell you to go and go eat and drink like a spoiled rich girl, and then that'll solve all your problems, and you can give us the $750.
$650.
$650.
You can take. You know what? Fuck. Go take like 400 of it. Like just send us like $250.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Use the rest on blowing.
Oh yeah, we'll make you a deal if you give us this much.
You don't have to do the turmeric, but do some coke. It'll probably do just about as much good.
You could spend that $650, fly to Regina. We'll provide weed tourism. We've got it all here.
For real, man.
You know what? I can't wait till Corey's back. I mean, I know he's working the corner trying to get more listeners, but hopefully it works out. All right, well, this is where we're going to take the music break. For live listeners and patrons, you can enjoy the next few minutes, and then we'll be back. For regular feed subscribers, this is where we're going to end the Skeptic Studio. We will be back in January. Remember to check out the Shift to Reason Radio next week to hear listener feedback, new patrons, and iTunes reviews. For music, we have Close Off, the stripped-down version by Rene. It's a super cool Canadian artist. Audience of One by Rise Against, and Real Recognize Real by Baba Brinkman off his new album. We recently booked Baba for an interview in 2018. Links and information about his music and where you can get it will be included in the show notes. With that, let's go to a music break. Listener feedback. Got no email, but we did get a nice Twitter comment the other day.
Nice on Twitter? What?
Yeah.
Did Corey write it himself?
No. At Derrigadei tweeted, "Yo, everyone needs to check these dudes out. I'm broke, but they're my next investment when some money opens up." And then they shared our Patreon link. We also had our 1,000-page like goal on Facebook.
That was totally Corey who wrote that on Twitter, wasn't it?
No.
Yo, bro. Yeah, he's like,
that's
Hitting
totally.
this shit up,
There's
dude.
nothing about energy drinks or lifting, so I doubt it.
That's what he's busy doing tonight. He's getting back into his workout routine.
Yeah. He's just lifting really heavy energy drinks. Kegs of energy drinks.
Are these people working out or having sex? Do you remember that from? It was an Adam Sandler skit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it sounds like Adam Sandler.
Thanks to share. So we hit the 1,000-page like goal.
Yay!
Thanks to a share from the Skeptical Meme Society and the Credible Hulk. We got over it by 50 new page likes. I hope those who like the page and decide to listen to the show enjoy it. I didn't write that. I would have written that more eloquently.
No,
As a result of hitting our goal, I need to do a giveaway. So I take over for one day and I'm giving shit away. Corey's never given shit away in 3 years, and here I am giving stuff away.
You're saying it like you're in Corey's voice. You have to say it like Corey is giving shit away, not like You're taking
in Corey's
credit.
voice. So I'm reading what he wrote and handed me to say.
He meant for you to give him credit, not for you to take over.
If that's the case, you have to read it like...
you have to read it like Corey.
So I have to say a whole bunch.
Well, I was going to say Huckabee Sanders.
Oh,
You can drink a few chiladas.
all right, so we're going to give away a few things. First, the first person to share the show, screenshot where they shared it, and email Corey the screenshot, will get a shirt from our Cafe Press store and from our sponsor store.
Can hosts get it? Can hosts
Absence
get
of
it?
clothing. No.
Probably not.
Fucking
Second,
hate that guy.
he has a medium-sized woman's cut T-shirt that he's barely worn with a Brainstorm logo on it. The second person to share the show, screenshot it and email to Corey, will get that.
The pit stains have almost come out. Don't worry, people.
He has 6 black ball caps with a Brainstorm logo, hand embroidered with very few spelling mistakes onto the front of them. Follow the same procedure, and the next 6 people will get one of these each.
Wow.
We also have about 100 stickers. Most of them are rainbows and unicorns from Corey's private collection.
One scratch and sniff.
He thought he'd give, those are the unicorns, and you don't want to know where you have to scratch them.
And what they sniff
Japan.
like. You don't want to know what they smell like.
He thought he'd give 2 of those away to each person who shared the show and emailed him the screenshot of it. So that's around 60 people who can get something from the show, from sharing the show.
Why would he give away
sharing the
like
show.
30 times the amount of listeners that we have? Like, it makes
We're getting a question as to what email to send it to.
Corey's.
Yeah, but what is that?
What is Corey's email?
I don't know.
You didn't write it down?
Well, like the Brainstorm email.
Send it to mail@brainstormblog.net.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
MAIL. The MALE one is Corey's other email account.
At mail.
So all emails can be sent to mail@brainstormblog.net. Corey is not sure if the contact page on the website will allow attachments because he didn't bother trying to do that himself first. So you may have to email it from your regular email address. You can, of course, opt out of a particular prize if you just want whatever the next one is, or you don't like stickers or can't use a medium woman's cut T-shirt or whatever. That is verbatim what he wrote. So make sure to share the show.
Do you mean verbatim?
No, verbatim.
Verbatim.
Yeah, per.
Is it like, okay.
I just felt like saying per.
Okay.
Per. So make sure to share the show, whether by sharing the page, sharing the newest episode after it comes out, sharing the live show, or sharing the Patreon link.
The Patreon link.
You can get some Brainstorm merch.
It's fucking amazing.
All right, on to Patreon.
I still want to win.
You always want to win. So Patreon is fucked.
All I do is
they're not charging patrons 35 cents for every transaction. They are not charging patrons. They are actually
charging.
Yeah, he put they are not, but they are now charging patrons 35 cents for every transaction. So basically,
Corey, you and your autocorrect bullshit.
Everyone who is contributing $1, Patreon is now charging them $1.35. Way to do that math all by yourself. If he understands it right, so he might not understand the math. He's currently looking for a better place to submit our content, or some way of mitigating the charge in policy by Patreon. He's also following a number of other podcasters who are pushing back against Patreon and who have enough supporters that they might actually have some clout. Obviously not us.
We have Lachlan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Destin sucks.
Well, no, that's where Corey is right now, trying to get more followers. For now, if you want to support the show through Patreon, we encourage you to do that, but would be informed about the new policy that charges patrons more than they pledge. You can do that at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast. We are going to switch it up and probably have just a monthly thing on there. So we do generally 4 shows a month total. So if you're contributing $1 a show or $2 a show, or like our new top supporter who's doing $30 a show.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Who's that? Is it you?
No. Yeah, me. I don't even like coming here. Why would I spend that much money?
It's Destin Blows, right? That's the patron.
No, if it was that much money, I'd be spending it on Blow. Well, wait, that's not legal yet. Yeah, so we're going to try to switch it to a monthly thing. So Corey will roll that out and explain it on the website and probably during the next podcast in January. So for reviews, we got one new review that came up in the Canadian store. We got 5 stars from Anonymous, a new Facebook friend.
Anonymous gave us 5 stars?
Yeah, like the whole group. Yeah.
Wow.
Keep up the great show, and said thanks for the great podcast with so much variety. I really learned so much from your episode when you interviewed Marissa. That was a great show.
That was a good one.
Yeah. What a story. Looking forward to talking to you all in 2018. Still no other iTunes reviews, so he's not sure what happened to Chris's review, but he's sure it'll come up eventually. On Facebook, Lachlan gave us 5 stars and said a solid group of skeptics, atheists, and whatever Gumby is. Wow, I should have proofread that. Always fun to listen to, and I would have read it just like that anyway. Always fun to listen to, and always keeps me engaged with the current topics and the endless supply of hilarious derailment. And I'm really sorry I missed when we were talking to Lachlan. He was on the show that 1 week, wasn't he?
I have no idea. I missed that one too.
Yeah.
No, I did miss that one. I was away.
Yeah, and I was ill.
So. I don't remember when that was, but I do remember.
Yeah, that was like a month or so ago.
Okay.
So maybe we might have to re-up that and have him on an episode when he's
sure.
available to come on.
He's also really good on our Facebook page. He always has really good shit to share.
I actually got to meet him, and he actually just recognized me by voice.
Lucky.
So
really?
Cool, yeah.
Where?
At Mazda.
Oh, he came in?
Yeah.
How did he know you worked there? You almost never bring it up.
I try not to. All right, so thanks, new Facebook friend, and thanks to Lachlan for the review. We really appreciate hearing from our listeners, especially the one that we have. Or, sorry, especially if they enjoy the show is what I meant to say.
There's 2 on the chat room.
Yeah, Aaron and Lachlan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron's in BC and works from home.
Hi, Aaron. We're so
Jealous.
glad you're listening.
Aaron's a cool shit. We should actually interview him someday.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, Aaron was in town at my studio one night. It was a long time ago now.
Yeah, that was at 2 studios ago.
No, it was last studio. it was our friend's wedding, and he was there. And I was thinking, geez, you know, it's too bad you're not here for when we're doing the podcast. But he did see the old room we do the podcast, and he was there, and he fell asleep in it.
No, that sounds like Aaron.
Yeah.
If he's still listening, the first time I really got to hang out with Aaron was at my old house on Vic in Weyburn. And he was drunk and wouldn't stop giggling and rolling around on the carpet. I'm sure he remembers that.
That seems legit.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was hilarious.
He said, that was fun. I'll join. The podcast, I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so anybody got stuff to plug?
No.
Lisa's got things to plug, but not stuff to plug. Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
I hate you.
I know. You look excited like you were going to plug
well,
something.
I was going to say never mind. I'm good. I don't want to plug anything.
Anybody that needs audio work done, Dave is now doing that specifically and only doing audio stuff.
That is correct.
And he was actually he was on CBC radio.
I was.
Were you? What did you do? What did you get interviewed about?
I wasn't actually on there. They just read my Facebook comment.
Yeah.
Which was what?
Well, because our premier Brad Wall last day, or his last day was yesterday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And celebrate. Well, yeah, and so they were asking what people would remember about Brad Wall. So I just made a comment about the film industry and like that. I think for me, like I know the film industry isn't like the biggest part of our economy, blah blah blah. But
it could have been a good part of our economy.
Well,
though.
it was a functioning part of our economy, and you know, like I was affected by it. You know, for employment reasons, I had a lot of friends around me affected by it, like people moving and people. No, like we have our own film department at the University of Regina, and there's nowhere for them to work anymore. So
yeah, and 2 great profs in film.
Yeah, well, there's a few, yeah. but anyway, so yeah, so I just made a comment about that's kind of what I would remember him by, and for me that's the thing that stuck out the most to me because it affected me the most, right? So. But I used to get a lot of work being extra, and that was just kind of a side job. Like I didn't depend on it, but it was nice to have that stuff and to it contributed to my income a lot. So
yeah, there's lots of movies he's in. It's under Token Brown Guy.
Well, yes, actually, if you want to see my performance as a Mexican detective,
I do. That should be a series.
It's on the internet. I found it. It's you just need to look up crime stories, and it's the episode with the Night Stalker. So you'll see
El Devo.
You'll see my terrible mustache. But we didn't have any speaking parts. It was all reenactments, right? So
sounds amazing.
You need to have amazing. A TV series, a Mexican detective called El Devo.
El Devo.
And his sidekick, Nacho.
El Nacho.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That'd be awesome. I'd watch that. I'd write for it.
Can he be like a Chilean detective, or does he have to be Mexican?
Well, nobody cares about Chile. They don't even have a soccer team.
They don't even have a soccer team. They didn't make the World Cup, so that's a dagger to my heart.
They have world-class
They actually
telescopes.
did really well, though.
They have world-class telescopes.
Yes, they do.
They do have amazing telescopes.
So does Panama.
I watched a documentary about that. Yeah.
Huh?
Nothing.
Panama?
Yeah.
Not really.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Corey just finished and released a new episode of The Hardcore Skeptic Examines. He interviewed Matthew Fasciani. You can check that out at www.thehardcoreskeptic.com. We still have the GoFundMe active for our attempt at a conference again. You can help support that if you want at gofundme.com/shift-2-reason-conference-2018. At least Corey made that really easy to type in. And that's about all we got. I know we're really early, but...
Oh, you were saying to plug stuff. I never even...
Yeah, plug the stuff.
Plug the stuff.
People should buy Dave's music.
Buy Dave's music. No. If you are in Regina, which I'm sure some of you, December 14th, Thursday at the Artful Dodger at 8 o'clock. They're going to be screening a little comedy film that I worked on called Heistery. And I did all the music and the audio mix, and it's a really funny little thing. It's just, there's a lot of good local actors, and it's funny. It's crude, but it's funny.
Awesome.
But that's at the Artful Dodger, and the Artful Dodger is closing down right away. So
they're moving.
I played last night there. It was a really good show.
They're moving?
They are. Yeah.
Where are they going?
The rumor is they're going on 11th, like above World of Trout, I think, or somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah, which isn't nearly as good of a location.
It's going to be a totally different feel. Yeah. The Artful Dodger. For those who are listening and don't know what that is, it's like an art venue, and it's really cool because there's different like rooms with different things, and there's a concert place, there's a bar, restaurant.
Yeah.
Upstairs, there's tons of like jam spaces and studios. It's really cool.
A nice, comfy, hipstery pub.
Yeah,
in its own way, without being douchey.
It's not douchey at all. Yeah, no, it's super welcoming.
I've probably been there a dozen times, and I've never seen a single neckbeard in there.
That doesn't.
What about a man bun?
Doesn't mean anything.
Oh, man buns are everywhere.
Okay, it's good
in the city.
The neckbeard, like.
What else? Oh, Humboldt 7-Eleven free wedges and Slurpees.
Why are we plugging that?
Because it popped up on the tablet.
Oh, on the tablet.
No, it's not on the tablet.
Oh, and another thing.
I'm just saying that because Alden has his nice handle when he's talking about, or when he has his Patreon account.
Oh, yes.
It's Gumby Sucks or Destin Sucks or whatever. So,
wait, does he work there?
He manages the store.
Oh.
So I'm saying that he's going to give away free wedges and Slurpees.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
I was going to say it's Alden, so mismanaged.
Yeah. Actually, he's good at running stores. He ran a couple Source. The Source.
Yeah, I know, but it's Alden, so I have to bust his chops somehow.
The other thing I was going to mention, sorry, I just keep plugging things here, but
it's okay.
Monday,
you do things.
I do some things. Monday in Winnipeg, there's a film that I worked on too. Like I did the recording and like for the audio and music. Documentary called From Up North. This is a short film about residential schools. It's been playing all over the place. Anyway, it's going to be in NSI Indigidocs Film Festival, I think. Yeah. But it's in Winnipeg. Look it up. Just look up From Up North Winnipeg. It'll pop up. If you're in Winnipeg, go check it out.
Corey and I are going to record the first 2 episodes of Positively Skeptical next Tuesday.
Is it like a pun? Is it about pets and like atheist pets?
No,
It's like
not
positively.
No.
That would be incredible.
Is it mostly barking and meowing?
Lisa, you could make that show to compete with them.
Yeah.
I can't do fucking effort. What are you talking about, dude?
Hey, you read an article this week.
I did it for you, Corey. I read 2 articles. I read them. I fucking read them because Corey looked so sad last week when I forgot. So sad.
Well, hopefully Corey recovers from his lobotomy and comes back.
Oh, and Lachlan has said he'll come on the show if you guys really want. Ha ha.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll have to.
I just decided I'm doing Corey's show.
I say we want.
You're in that chair. You make decisions now.
Everyone that wants Lachlan
You're the
on,
decider now.
He fucking gave you his tablet thing. Yeah. You're fucking in. Like, this is it.
Yeah, I don't like this tablet.
You're not drinking homeopathic beers, so that might be the only thing you're missing.
Well, I'm drinking Gatorade.
Well, yeah, I guess
it's probably just about as alcoholic as
it's got the same alcohol
content.
You just need more tomatoes in your drink.
And clam. Just squeeze some clam, like right in there. Just squeeze it right in there.
Squeeze a couple clams. Grab her by the clam.
Fuck. I hate Donald Trump. I'm sorry. Thanks for triggering me, asshole.
Lost Trump. Anything else to plug, Dave?
No, I'm good.
I'm actually going to be getting Dave to do my intro music for my show that we're recording on Tuesday. So we might not have the audio recorded by then because I just told Dave we're recording next Tuesday. And he's got a couple things on his plate. So,
like this coming Tuesday?
Yeah.
What 4 days from now, dude.
What does your music have to sound like? Like, what is it going to be? Like can it just be farts and like?
No, I want the intro to be like an upbeat digital funk sound.
Oh, okay.
Something you might have fun playing with.
How long does it have to be?
About 30 seconds.
I bet you I could pull that off.
You're the Amazing Dave, so
well,
and
then I'd have to do voiceover for it too, though. So
yeah, that's true.
That's a little trickier. So I'd have to
And just make sure
I'm going to get Angela to do the voiceover. Oh, that is such a good idea. I am
she's
such
the
a genius.
best.
Get her to use her sultry,
best.
night
use
voice.
her good voice.
Then our show will just be soggy.
Jeez.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
No, that's true.
Fucking love Angela.
Yeah.
Fell in love with her on the radio if I ever met her. Not radio, but podcast. Whatever, same shit.
So you
close enough.
Yeah. You're pansexual. You're attracted to Angela.
Thank
She's
you.
not a pan.
Yeah, I don't care what she is. She's hot.
Hat.
HAWT.
All right. Well, I think we've digressed. Nobody's got anything else? I think.
Oh wait, I got 10. No, just
I know it's early.
I'm
but I
in a
think
choir.
we'll
we
call
sing
it-
at old folks' homes. We're fucking amazing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
sing
Lisa's in a choir.
old folks' home, a religious choir.
We sing super religious songs, but I happen to know of at least one CFI member who's also in it. So it's the two of us atheists are singing along with everyone else, like super religious shit. It's hilarious.
I'm going to try to find a cult to join in Regina. Just to do some inside reporting on it.
Sons of Odin?
No.
Shriners?
No, just kidding. Shriners?
Shriners. I don't think I'd fit on their bikes. There used to be a Scientology group here, but I don't have the money to join that.
No one does anymore.
I don't think you want to get involved with that. They like blackmail your family and shit. I don't know if I'd want to get involved.
I'm not going to join any of the gangs in town because pigment.
You could join Hell's Angels. Just gotta ride a bike.
Does Mazda sell
Does a
Harleys?
10-speed work?
There's also the legislative gang.
Yeah.
You join that one.
That's the most powerful cartel in the area.
They're smuggling money out of China into
the GTH.
No, just kidding. China.
I just got to sell some land.
Yeah. To someone in Alberta.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you all in the new year, I guess. Sorry to cut this one a little bit short, but our fearless leader isn't here. He's getting his back waxed. That was a sexual reference. So we'll catch you guys next time.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.
We just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interactions with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.